Welcome back. This is Sal Kelly once again, and today is the fifth segment of the self-empowerment workshop series of videos. And so far we've been covering how to deal with fear, how to deal with your self-image, things of this sort. Now we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit. We're going to go more toward the energetic aspects of self-empowerment. What do we mean by that? Well, we've been taught to come from the mind. The mind is our problem solver. We have to think our way through this and think our way through that to be basically a head person. We're taught, especially men, but women also, are taught to come from the head. This is our whole society rewards intellectual sharpness and the logical, rational, analytical approach to dealing with problems. This has been true, well, ever since the Newtonian science first gained a foothold, and we have this cause and effect, action and reaction consciousness that works quite well in everyday life. It's helpful to know if you drive a certain speed and go a certain distance, it's going to take you a certain amount of time to get there, and you can plan accordingly. For example, airline schedules, they calculate it down to the minute sometimes, how long it's going to take to get from point A to point B. So this is the Newtonian logical, rational, analytical way of looking at things. Is the mind creative? Absolutely. Ideas begin in the mind. You have an idea for a project and it starts in the mind. It starts with an idea. Absolutely, the mind is critical. Is it the most important part of the creative process? Not necessarily, because there's not as much energy, and this can be proven scientifically, there's not as much energy in the mind as there is in the heart and solar plexus. The heart, the center of love and compassion, also known as the fourth chakra, is, according to modern medicine and modern physics, more powerful in terms of electrical signals coming out than the mind. Now, the solar plexus is known as the center of chi, or it's called the dantian in some teachings. Martial artists are well aware of the power of the solar plexus. The solar plexus is located, well, just in some teachings a little below the navel, and in other teachings a little above the navel. So go ahead and take some deep breaths right now, and this is another key, believe it or not, to self-empowerment, is breathing. So in this particular episode of this video series, we're going to focus on breathing, the energy of love and compassion in the heart, and the energy of personal power and personal will in the solar plexus. And we already indicated in a previous segment that a lot of us are afraid of our own power, or we're afraid of becoming corrupted by power. As the statement goes, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know, these are famous quotes that most people are aware of, the idea that power corrupts. Well, it's not really power that corrupts, it's the lust for power that corrupts. And the lust for power is not the same thing as power. In fact, as we've already said, it's false power. It's the ego's attempt to replace God, basically, with its own aggrandized view of what God is. That I'm the all-powerful, and I'm going to have more weapons than you, and I'm going to have more troops in the military, and I'm going to learn mind control so I can have power over your mind, and so on and so forth. Notice that the emphasis again is on mind. So actually, if you develop your heart and solar plexus, if you learn how to create and express energetically from your heart and solar plexus, you are on the way to true power, along with knowing who you really are, changing your self-image from that of a helpless, powerless human being to a powerful, creative, spiritual being. This is the big difference. So let's do a meditation together, very short meditation. Let's take a moment. You can have your eyes open or closed, it doesn't matter. And let's start taking some deep breaths together, pulling on the inhale, relaxing on the exhale, and not pausing any more than necessary between the inhale and the exhale, or between the exhale and the next inhale. So this is like a continuous rhythm. So we're going to continue this breathing rhythm for just 2 or 3 minutes, just to see how it feels inside. And while you're breathing, you're focusing simultaneously on your heart center and your solar plexus. And in fact, if you observe the rising and falling of your body with each breath, you'll notice both the heart and the solar plexus are rising together on the inhale and then contracting or falling on the exhale. So it looks something like this. And I'm going to see if I can, well, I'm not going to move the camera. I'm just going to kind of stand up a little bit so you can see my heart and solar plexus chakras. So that's the style of breath. So go ahead and do a modified version of what you just saw me do, where you're breathing simultaneously from the chest and the abdomen at the same time, emphasizing both of them equally. And you're breathing in a nice full deep breath, and you're breathing out more like a sigh of relief, where you allow gravity to push the breath out. And just continue breathing like that for 2 or 3 minutes, focusing on the heart and solar plexus. Now, as you continue to do this, you might just notice that your mind is becoming a little quieter. Maybe there's an occasional thought, am I doing this right? What is supposed to happen? Am I supposed to feel more energy? But the incessant chatter has slowed down a little bit if you're like most people doing this. So just notice, don't try to change your thoughts, don't try to change your mind. Just observe that the mind is becoming a little more quiet as you focus on the heart and solar plexus. So just maybe another 30 seconds of this breathing, and notice if there's energy moving in your body. Notice if you can feel the oxygen entering your lungs, maybe the carbon dioxide exiting with the exhale, and just observe how your energy is changing as you breathe in this rhythm, focusing on the heart and solar plexus. Not trying too hard, but just allowing yourself to focus in this way. Now continue to breathe this way, maybe relax it a little bit. You don't have to try quite so hard. But just see if you can keep breathing in this full, deep rhythm. Keep focusing on your heart and solar plexus. And now think about something you wish to manifest in your life. It could be a better paying job, it could be more profits in your business, it could be more loving relationships, better health, better meditations, more harmony in your family, whatever it is. Think of something that you would like to manifest either from nothing or more of if it's something you already have, or if it's something negative, less of, but I recommend focusing on something positive. And so just continue to breathe and notice how you feel when you are focused on the heart and solar plexus, but at the same time you're thinking about what it is you want to manifest. Now I'd like to say that this is about knowing and intending to create. It is not about wishing and hoping. Wishing and hoping come from the ego, and they rarely work well. It's like digging a tunnel with a spoon. You might eventually get the tunnel dug, but it's going to take a lot of time and effort. if you're using a spoon. So coming more from the heart and solar plexus is a lot like using modern drilling equipment to build your tunnel. So go ahead and continue the breathing a little more relaxed, and just notice what's happening mentally, and notice how you feel about your creation, about the thing you're wanting to manifest. How are you feeling about that? Not so much what are you thinking, but how are you feeling? And not only feeling from the heart, but feeling from the gut, from the solar plexus. Notice that there's a quality of feeling in both of these chakras that doesn't really exist in the mind so much. Yes, the mind is important. We're not saying ignore the mind or stop using the mind. That would be ridiculous. We're simply shifting our focus more to the heart and solar plexus. Now, those of you who have been through timeline healing know that there's a technique called reverse timeline healing that utilizes the heart and solar plexus. It is a manifesting technique, and this series is at least partly about manifesting. It's about feeling and knowing that you are a powerful, creative, spiritual being. It's not enough to know it intellectually. When I say knowing, I'm referring more to the knowing of the heart and the knowing of the gut, or the solar plexus. I'm not just referring to the knowing of the mind. Of course, knowing of the mind is helpful and important, but this is beyond the knowing of the mind. This is that deep, intrinsic knowing that you are a powerful person. And yes, you kind of have to take it on faith at first. Oh, well, he said that I'm a powerful being, and he said, go ahead and pretend that I'm a powerful being, so I'll go ahead and pretend that I'm a powerful being, even though there's a part of me that doesn't really believe it, because I've had so many so-called failures in my life, or I've tried to do things and I've given up, or it was too hard, too difficult, or other people discouraged me, or society discouraged me, or somebody made fun of me, or told me I can't do that, you're just a dreamer, who are you to think you can change the world, and on and on and on. This, of course, is the mental chatter. These are the thoughts going through the mind that tend to oppose this change that we're making from powerlessness to being in your natural power. Notice we're not actually creating new power. We are awakening the power that is already there. This is the whole purpose of this segment, is to awaken what is already inherent within you, but you've simply forgotten it, or you've covered it over with negative thoughts and beliefs. So, once again, keep bringing your focus back to the heart and solar plexus as you intend to create something in your life. And whenever you talk about it, you want to talk about it with conviction as well. I intend to create a successful healing practice. I am certain I am creating happier and more loving relationships. I am intending and I am doing it, creating better health. Whatever it is. Notice two different ways of approaching life. Well, I really wish and hope that I could have a higher paying job, but you know, the economy's not very good right now, and I don't think anybody's willing to pay me more money. Is that going to create what you want? I doubt it. But how about this? I intend. It's like you're pushing out energy. I intend to create a better paying job. I am certain that I have the capabilities right now within me to manifest a better paying job. Now, which of those are more likely to work? Even if you adopt the second view, which is the heart and solar plexus, knowing that you're going to create something powerful and effective, even that doesn't mean you're not going to have to put effort into it. Life seems to require quite a bit of effort for most things that are worthwhile. You probably still will need to do more than just expect God to drop something in your lap with no effort. That rarely works. Just like wishing and hoping rarely works. Oh, maybe I'll win the lottery. I hope I win the lottery. Probably not going to happen. But You start with this knowing, this conviction, I will create. And I am creating right now. And it is already so in nonlinear time. It is already done. In fact, use the phrase 3 times, it is done, it is done, it is done. So you are issuing a decree, you are issuing a command, and you're doing so with conviction, with authority, with knowingness. Not with this wishy-washy, oh, I hope or I wish. That's not going to get you very far. That's like trying to dig a tunnel with a spoon that is all warped and twisted. So that's essentially the difference between mental, thinking constantly about what you're going to create, which works a little bit. If you're constantly focused mentally on what you want to create, it will tend to spur you into action more easily than if your thoughts are wandering. But this is about that high-powered mechanical drill that digs the tunnel really fast when you are focused on your heart and solar plexus. So this is a cornerstone of self-empowerment. It's feeling and knowing that you are a powerful, creative, spiritual being. Not just mouthing the words, saying the affirmation, because, well, that sounds really nice. I like that idea that I'm powerful and creative, spiritual being. I'm a powerful, creative, spiritual being. I'm a powerful, creative, spiritual being. And you just keep saying it over and over. Well, okay, it's probably helping if you're repeating it over and over. Your subconscious mind is slowly starting to get it. But when you say it with conviction, I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being, you are putting it out there, and you are doing so with authority. So this is important. Of course, your words are powerful, but the tone of your words, the tone of your voice, the conviction behind your words is also quite powerful. So this is a major step. So let us just briefly review some of the steps we've done. We recognized that we have to change our self-image. We looked at what is true power and what is false power. And now we're taking some of these ideas from the first few segments and we're bringing them into the body. We're making them more real on a physical level, on a tangible, practical level. Now, are you going to hit resistance? Probably. Are you going to feel energy other than enthusiasm and excitement? Most likely. You're going to go through some resistance. And you need to be able to handle the resistance. And this is where the breathing comes in. The breathing is a powerful way of overcoming resistance. You start to feel a constriction or a block arising within your body as you state your conviction. That's your resistance. So we're not going to fight with the resistance. That just makes it stronger. We're going to breathe through the resistance. We're going to feel the resistance in the heart and solar plexus, and we're going to breathe through it. So we're going to take some deep breaths the minute you feel the resistance coming up. So this is a very important part for this is overcoming the resistance, which is inevitably going to be there because the body and mind get into a groove. They get into a rut, and it takes some effort to get them out of their habitual negative behaviors. So that goes for the heart and solar plexus as well as the mind. So we're going to breathe through the resistance. And you might be able to pinpoint the resistance. Oh, I'm afraid I'll lose the love of my family if I'm too successful in business, because they've always had a lot of poverty, and poverty is a virtue programming, and they're going to resent me if I make a lot of money and if I'm successful. It's kind of like I'm betraying the family. You identified that was the thought that was acting as a block. So what are you going to do? You're going to breathe through that thought. And you're going to allow the feelings to move through your heart and solar plexus. They may not stay in the heart and solar plexus. They may jump up into the throat or into other parts of the body. But you're going to keep breathing anyway, and you're going to notice that this resistance starts to change after a few minutes of breathing and simply being present with the negative thoughts that are triggering the resistance. So this is the second part of this being in the heart and solar plexus, is allowing the resistance to come up with full awareness and breathing through the resistance, the feelings of fear, inadequacy, what if I'm not good enough, what if I fail, whatever those thoughts of fear are, you're going to breathe through them as you stay focused on your heart and solar plexus. So, in our next segment, we'll go into some additional qualities of self-empowerment. Thank you for watching.